Well, it has now been 1 week since the shooting at Evergreen High School. The hard work of healing is only just starting in that community and truly around the rest of Colorado as well. We have someone very special in today to talk about how to support the survivors in the aftermath of some kind of a mass violence situation. Missy Mendo is here today. You're with the Rebels Project, and my goodness, do you have such a personal experience that can lend itself to helping what is now a new generation of students who are living through this. So Missy, thanks for being here. The Rebels Project group lived through their own version of this. What's your background?
Thank you so much for having us. Yes, I myself am the Director of Community Outreach, and I was 14 years old when the Columbine High School shooting happened. In our organization, we're all volunteers, but we're all representative of some sort of mass violence. We have people from STEM Highlands Ranch, we have people from the Aurora Theater shooting, from Route 91 Las Vegas, Chardon High School, and Heath High School right now that are all part of our organization.
It's wild to have a group with so much personal experience in such a terrible area. Thank goodness you guys have organized to try to help the next kids.
Yes.
Because you know it. You understand what they're going through. These kids are 1 week past the shooting in Evergreen. I mean, every child, every family is going to experience this differently. If you had to guess a couple of things they're feeling today, 1 week removed, what would that look like?
Ooh, that's a pretty loaded question.
Right.
I feel like a lot of the things that they're feeling, I know from experience, was a bit of survivor's guilt. And where do we begin? What do we do next? We wake up and our schedule is all messed up. And when you're a developing human being as a teenager, you have a schedule that keeps you going, and now your schedule is altered because of this horrible thing that has happened to you. And I know that one of the things that I had trouble with was sleeping. And the other thing
Like
that
you couldn't, or you were struggling to get up and start your day? Both?
I feel like a little bit of both. Definitely the struggling to even fall asleep, because it's almost like your list of things to do for the day was never ending, but you were lucky enough to have a list to do that was never ending. And then I've also heard on the other end of the spectrum of people sleeping too much. And so I know that that was definitely a struggle that I personally experienced, as well as the survivor's guilt.
The parents in this situation, I met many of them the day of the shooting as they wait to reunite with their kids, and I saw how hard it was for them to even begin. How do we talk about what happened today? How do we get you home safe? That's day one. Now we begin the hard work of mom and dad parenting kids through this. What advice can you even begin to give parents in this situation? Not just the kids at Evergreen, but the rest of the community I had friends text me the day of saying, my kid's not even in that school, but they're in the district and they're panicking.
I would say to them, first of all, kudos to you for even looking for resources for your children when it comes to mental health. In the Rebels Project, we have 2,000 people in our private group and over 200 communities, and not everybody has parents who are supportive as this generation and the generation specifically in Evergreen. The parents have, in my opinion, have really done a great job of trying to look for resources. The thing that I would say the parents could do is definitely listen. Listen is a huge thing. Not telling them what to do, but listening. And maybe creating an open space for their children to express themselves whenever they're ready. My mom helped me read magazines at night and would just talk about life and talk about things going on. And then as I felt more comfortable opening up about things, that's when I would feel better. And so giving yourself as a parent grace, as well as your kiddos grace, because this is such a horrific situation for the both of you to go to, and you're both going to be grieving differently despite it being the same event.
We're in a different space when it comes to mental health today than we were when you were a teenager going through this. It's not at all uncommon today to talk about this. Kids have therapists sometimes already. Like, we exist in a different world than Columbine was. That's good for their healing, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, are you just saying, go find what's going to work for you, try a few things?
Yes, absolutely. In the past, things that we've done to help people connect was acupuncture, massage. I know that a lot of our folks enjoy running or enjoy physical activity, fresh air. I personally love playing sports, and I play a lot of sports, so that really helped me getting out into the fresh air. But therapy was definitely the most helpful tool in my toolbox as far as mental health.
And all these resources, you know, I'm always looking for what's the list of resources, what's the list of resources. I feel like it's probably important to say too, this isn't a box we check and move down a list and then suddenly we feel better, right? You are decades removed from your event, and I'm sure this
Yes.
is still a daily thing for you. So for these families, like, this isn't going to be a check the box and we're good here.
That's very correct. It's kind of a never-ending thing. I feel like there's 3 really good resources that I feel like I could mention. One is definitely the Rebels Project, and we have a private group where it's peer-to-peer connection, and we also have a teachers separate peer-to-peer group because we were finding that some of the teachers were having trouble venting and talking to each other, and they didn't want to trigger their children.
For sure.
So the other thing is the DeAngelis Center Foundation. They teach communities how to protect, how to navigate before and after these situations. And then there's also the Colorado Healing Fund. They are specifically funding for long-term effects of mass trauma for folks to use as a resource.
Couple of good options there to get started. If folks are looking for you guys, how to connect with you, what would you tell them?
I would say,
Certainly your website.
a good old-fashioned Google search. We know what it feels like to have other people insert themselves into our communities. So when these things happen, we wait for a little bit of time to go by, and then we send a letter to resources, victims advocacy areas, state advocacy areas, police departments, letting them know who we are, because we find that something happens and then they move on to the next thing. We're here for the marathon and not for the sprint. So,
Marathon. Isn't that such a sad way we have to describe this at this point? That's so wild to me. Well, okay, thank you. This has been really enlightening, and it's really helpful because, you know, when your generation went through this, you didn't have a group older than you to turn to, an organized resource list. I'm glad that these kids at least have somebody to hold their hand and walk them through it. So, Missy Mendo with the Rebels Project, thanks for being in here today, and make sure if you guys are looking for them, Rebels Project, reach out. She's here. She's ready to talk to you.
yes, thank you so much.